Scotland's biggest independent grant-making charity will be ordered to pay damages to its former chief executive after a tribunal ruled that he was discriminated against because he opposed gay marriage. Kenneth Ferguson, who is an elder with the Free Church of Scotland, took legal action against the Robertson Trust, arguing that he was unfairly dismissed because of his religious beliefs. And the Employment Tribunal was told that Sinead McPherson, the Trust's chairwoman, had been angered when one of its venues had been booked by the Stirling Free Church, which opposes abortion and same-sex weddings. Now, Simon Calvert from the Christian Institute, who have been following this case, gave his reaction to Premier's Donna Birrell.
We're very pleased that he's won his case. I've been speaking with Kenneth. Obviously, we've been supporting him throughout this ordeal, and his overwhelming feeling, I think, is mainly one of relief. He's said that, in his entire professional life, he'd never been treated by anyone the way he was treated by the Robertson Trust. And, let's not forget, this was a man who had a very successful tenure there, oversaw huge expansion and growth in their work, and was praised to the skies by the Trust and by the chair. But when this business came up about him, his church, renting Trust premises, and the chairwoman's hostility to his church's views on marriage, that's when things really began to change. So the tribunal has said that he was unfairly dismissed, and they've said that he was subjected to religious discrimination. And it's a very clear ruling in Kenneth's favour. And I think it's a just outcome, and one that should be an encouragement to Christians who hold to the Bible's views on marriage, and also, I think, a warning to employers that you can't mistreat Christians for their beliefs. You may not agree with them, but these beliefs, as the court has made clear, are protected by equality law, they're protected by human rights law, and they are worthy of respect in a democratic society.
Because it's interesting, isn't it, that Kenneth Ferguson hadn't been allowing his own religious views to encroach upon his work?
That's exactly right, yes, not at all. And he was very careful about that. No, it came down to the fact that Kenneth's church, where Kenneth was an elder, made arrangements to rent some of the Robertson Trust's property for its church meetings. Kenneth had recused himself from all the negotiations to do with that rental because it was a conflict of interest, and he knew that. But when the chair of the trust found out that his church, Stirling Free Church, was meeting at the premises, she became angry and repeatedly made remarks to other staff and trustees about this church's views on marriage, the fact that the church believes that marriage is between a man and a woman. And what the tribunal has found was that she allowed her personal hostility to their Christian beliefs to affect the way that she then dealt with Kenneth Ferguson.
How distressed was Mr. Ferguson at the time? Because he'd been CEO for 9 years, very responsible position, as you say, hadn't let his religious views encroach upon his work at all. So it must have been a very distressing time for him.
It came as a big shock to him. As he said, he'd never been treated like this before. He'd never encountered this before. He'd had previously a very good relationship with the chair and also with her predecessors. And so it was a shock. And I think that he just felt that it was very unjust that he should find himself being pushed out of a job that he loved, because of his association with a church that holds mainstream beliefs about marriage. And as I say, the tribunal has recognised all of this, and it is a principle that the courts have repeatedly recognised, including in many cases that we at the Christian Institute have fought. The court has recognised that Christian beliefs on marriage and sexuality, they may not be popular, they may not be fashionable, but they are sincerely held and they are protected by law. And of course, you can believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, and of course also believe that you would love your gay friends and family. Those two things are not really in tension at all. The problem seems to be that I think some people think they are, and and so you can get people who react very strongly. So, there is an opportunity for us as Christians to use these kinds of news stories to explain what we really believe, and to perhaps to dispel some of the myths which have grown up around what we believe.
That was Simon Calvert from the Christian Institute speaking to Premier's Donna Birrell about this story that an employment tribunal has ruled that Scotland's biggest grant-making trust unlawfully discriminated against its former chief executive because of his Christian views on marriage.